Bello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? Today we are going to try and generate resources using mystical agriculture, and yes, I'm really not a builder, that's just supposed to be a warehouse. It's a giant cube, but it should give us a decent amount of storage. I even made a garbage crane. I don't know how to make them. Anyways, before we set up the mystical agriculture area, there are a few gizmos that we're going to need. We need to make a few things from applied energistics. And yes, even though we are out of redstone, I have been mining in the Twilight Forest. So there is no need to panic. I have made some of the gizmos that we are going to need. Also, we are going to need a construction stick, which is unbreakable. I keep breaking the old ones, it's getting a bit frustrating. But anyways, our mystical agriculture area is going to be inside a compact machine. And you might notice I'm actually making it a bit more higher up, because just in case we need the crooks underneath or some of the growth accelerators from mystical agriculture itself. This is a super massive compact machine. We have plenty of space. That is perfectly fine. We can just get away by having a few lanterns, I suppose. Also, I think it's not a very bad idea to upgrade our warp index at this very moment, because I have to go to another dimension and the guy is not working. It used to be an expensive upgrade, but at this very moment, it's not horrifying. And you have to link it again. It's a good thing I checked. You don't get hostile mobs in there, right? But you do get vengeance spirits. Anyways, let's try to light it up a bit. The way that everything is going to work is exactly the same that we did in the overworld. We're going to use the Eclipse alloy hoe and we're going to link it to this barrel. The barrel has an import bus and there are storage buses on every single crafter. And for the moment they just have a filter for my shovel so that nothing else goes inside. For the moment that is all of our inferium seeds. Some growth accelerators like so, and the generators on top. Very cool. They're growing. So if I'm not wrong, they should go in here because that is the only one which has a filter for inferium. Right. I have set up all the inferium seeds that we had, and now let us try to get some practical seeds. I thought maybe we should start with Certus quartz. It's a bit expensive because it does require a compressed block, but blocks of Certus quartz are cheap. And I have purchased a decent amount, so let's see if we can have like 4 compressed blocks. Oh, we can. Nice. Should we have 2 seeds? Why not? Actually, let's go with more. With the add-ons to AE2, it does get more expensive exponentially, so why not? Let's have as much as we can. I'm assuming fluic seed is also the same? Yeah, compressed. For 2 seeds, I'm missing a bit. It's okay, he's going to trade in the morning. For me personally, this is probably gonna be the most boring part of the mod pack, because I have to craft like a ton of seeds. But what keeps me going is that after this, I'm just gonna be filthy rich. I hope. For the moment I have 4 Certus, 2 Fluics, 4 Redstone, 4 Iron, and that should be the 4th gold. We're going to craft 9 different seeds, then we go to the compact machine and set it up. Because I think that's the total amount of recipes you can have in a single crafter. I have placed in the 9 seeds, I have set up the crafter, and everything goes inside an ender chest. Or a dimensional chest. However, there's one thing that I want to try. A 2x2 drawer with 4 netherite upgrades, how much do you hold? That's actually a lot. How much is it? 537 million. What if we go with a 2x1? Yeah, 1 billion. Not that we ever need that, but we go with a 1x2. Let's face it, we're never ever going to have 1 billion of an item. I'm out. I just made a teeny tiny bit more and we can finish our first wall. I started working on the new batch of seeds. We already have uranium, osmium, zinc, amethyst, skystone, silicon, netherite, and we're going to move on to glowstone. However, I also noticed that some things which do require a bit of processing power also have a seed, including brass. It's from Create, nothing super fancy, but we might as well have 1 seed for it. It does require compressed blocks, it's a bit expensive. We need 10 more blocks. But to be honest with you, so far the amount of resources that we're getting is not that bad. It's not amazing. We might have to add a few lily pads of fertility. So far we're getting more fertilizer. I'm a bit short on insanium, so for the moment we're just going to have 1 unobtainium seed, 1 aldemodium seed, and 1 vibranium seed. Later on, once we get more insanium, we're gonna make more. Because it does require a block of insanium. That's a lot. We only have like 22, 23 blocks. Actually, if we have 23 blocks, yeah, there's 1 here. Yeah, it's fine. We will add seeds later on. I'm impatient. Yeah, they do grow really slowly. Wow, very slowly. Do they even grow? Magical soil below. Never mind. I just wasted 4 blocks of everything. It's okay. We just keep them here. I'll get the rest of the seeds. I added a few more seeds from mystical agriculture, different essences, nature essence, tree essence. For some reason I had 4 iron wood, so I thought, yeah, let's make a seed for it as well. We have platinum and we have coal. However, there are also a few seeds that we can craft from power. They're not going to be like super useful, but why the hell not? Cause later on, once we get into auto crafting, that could save a bit of time. Energized steel, maybe not that much. It's almost instant anyways. But blazing, niotic, etc., they're going to be decent. Also, all of them are going to require compressed blocks, so it's a bit. Hello, Zaphex. I haven't killed anyone in a while. Yeah, the ones requiring the energizing orb are just gonna take time. That is perfectly fine because there are other things that we can craft as well. I also noticed there is an Indirium seed. I'm lazy to make Indirium, and it's cheap. There's actually a cheaty way of making Indirium in all the mod packs. Oops. I need a crushed version. Okay. I don't have the crushed version. We have to find the ore. That's our lead. And 1 platinum somewhere. It's like one of the most common ores ever. Why can't I find one? Ah, yeah. There you go. There's also a steel seed. Thankfully, there's also a cheaty way of making steel dust. Unfortunately, it's a bit more expensive than I was expecting. It does require compressed blocks and, well, I can only make 1 set. Obviously, I want more. His name is Aaron the Jerk. I'm the only jerk around here. So yeah, it has been a teeny tiny bit of time later. I didn't pick up something. Yeah, I think sometimes they don't drop everything that they should. Anyways, it has been not a crazy amount of time later, maybe 1.5 hours or something. And these are all the essences that we are producing. I have added coal, Indirium, energized steel. We even have blazing crystals, niotic crystals, and some more essences from the nether end, etc. And then I thought to myself, let's also move everything that we are getting from the mob farm to the opposite side. So that's also being done. However, from the ender chest that is hooked up to our mob farm, not everything directly goes into the drawer. Everything goes inside the barrel first. Sounds stupid, I know, but I'm compacting a few things. For example, this experience from Ars Nouveau can be eventually upgraded to this version, which, you know, gives you way more experience. I'm doing the same with wither skeleton skulls, nuggets, etc. So now I just remembered the only thing remaining is the spirited crystal. Then I'm going to be done for today with the seeds. So let me finish transferring all the ingredients from our mob farm. I'll be right back. Alright, my fellow lords and ladies of darkness, everything from our mob farm storage has been transferred to our main storage, and it's a very good thing that I made some netherite, gold and diamond seeds, cause I had to upgrade every single one. So for obvious reasons, we're really not finished here. There are so many resources that we have to add, but I think for today that's gonna be enough, after we get the spirited one as well. Also, I just wanted to mention, you might notice that some of the resource generation is a teeny tiny bit garbage. I did consume a lot of diamonds, but we're not getting that many anyways. Or gold. That's actually a lot, 5,000. Okay. Anyways, some of the resources are not being generated fast enough, but that's okay, because we will have quarries. The mystical agriculture is just gonna function for the moment so that we have some resources and I don't have to go mining every 5 seconds. Oh, and by the way, I have 1 vibranium essence and I don't know how. It's okay, we will also fix that one later on. The only problem is that I'm very sad that I have wasted so many blocks. Anyways, last episode I did mention that I have made a boo-boo with the gems from apotheosis, and that was that I forgot that there are perfect gems, so I just used flawless. We do need to make some sort of a mob farm so that we can harvest some gems as well as other garbage, and for that I need a heart of the sea. We can always get that using mystical agriculture, it's just that I'm lazy. I crafted more than my fair share of seeds for one day. We do it the traditional way. Also, this guy underwater is just garbage. My armor. Ha! Sneaky chests. With a treasure map. So it's to the north and west. Flying is a bit slow, but one of the things that I have noticed is that my chest plate has elytra flight. So we can just go up and go into elytra mode. It's a bit faster, I suppose. Where's north? That way. Oh, we're there. What? Treasure chests cannot be underwater. I just made myself a storage scanner from RF Tools. There's nothing. You know, if you don't want to give me a heart of the sea, you can just say it. Why do I have to go on a wild goose chase? It's okay. Let's find another map. My fellow lords and ladies of darkness, in order to find a stupid map for the buried treasure, you might have to visit 4 or 5 ships. Well, I found another map. The problem is that it was also underwater. So as I have already mentioned, there is a way of getting Heart of the Sea using mystical agriculture, but we're not gonna do that. Cause I just noticed there is one as a quest reward if we do manage to make a 64 times generator. And now that I have some resources to waste, let's just do that. For the moment, we're up to gold. Diamonds could be a bit painful, but we will see. Diamonds are set. We need obsidian. It's a good thing I made the mystical agriculture farm first, but there you go. That is obsidian. So any 64 times generator will do. The problem is that the magmatic one is required for the old mod star, but it needs a bucket of lava. So 64 times generator, any one, right? Literally. We go with ender pearls. Cause let's face it, I'm just gonna throw these things away. It's like 4000 RF. It's nothing. You need the heart of the sea in order to make it. Never mind. Just ignore the fact that I wasted stacks and stacks of resources. And probably all of my diamonds. Aha. Buried treasure. Don't be underwater. You are underwater again. How is this a thing? Oh, there's another map. Okay. Oh, it's the same one. Jerk. So whatever it is, it's in this chunk. And that's the one. There was one piece of gravel standing up. Graceful sword of Serendipitous. 40 attack damage. What? Oh, this is the ice sword. I always wanted to have one. Oh, the glass sword, yes. Anyways, the important part is that we have the heart of the sea, so let's start duping it. We first have to melt it. Yes. That comes in the center. Lovely. We just have to dupe this, right? Yeah, exactly. We can have a bunch. And that is 5 heart of the sea. Getting prepared. Now that we have the heart of the sea, we actually need to get the spawner. And yes, I'm using rockets. During my explorations, I found a structure high up in the sky. Apparently, I also messed it up. How much TNT do you have? Give me. Yeah, you might notice the place is a mess, but there are spawners for wither skeletons here. Yeah. I don't have silk touch on me, so we take that one. Come on. We got it. Wither roses. Awesome. Also, they asked for it. Too many mobs. It did not destroy a single spawner. This is actually going to be a super simple mob farm. We're just going to use a spawner, right? So quartz and piston should reduce the spawn range. It's now at 1, so they should spawn on top of this block. I also added some dripstone so they have less initial health. Doesn't really matter, but you know. We don't mind to have a bit of a redstone control, so we're going to use create. I did loot some lodestones, so we can have fancy levers. Yeah, there is a fancy lever. Nice. So you're going to be the transmitter, and if we flick the lever, the spawner is not on. Oh, wait. The antenna goes on the receiver, right? Yeah. We are going to provide it with a nether star, although I don't really know why. Not that I'm thinking. And the most important thing which we just got is the conduit. Oops, don't you worry, we have 4,600 Nautilus shells. So there you go, that's a conduit. Now they should ignore spawn conditions, right? Yeah, we got one. Now we just have to do the usual upgrades, you know, things like clock, sugar, etc. Okay, so I don't really know what I was thinking. A 3x3 is far better, and it does work fine. I'm happy with this. The reason that I chose wither skeletons is actually quite simple. Let me get rid of these guys. Well, first off, we do get the gems, and some of them are perfect. Like this one. Although I don't need this one. But wither skeletons are the undead, therefore what we are going to get is the essence of the undeath, which we got too. It's going to be very useful for making a graveyard. We're also getting the grave dust, which is perfect. Since I'm killing them manually myself, I'm also getting the miniature red hearts from bubbly heart canisters, and I'm also getting the wither bone. My mob farm was not producing those things, so this is actually quite nice. Also, unlike zombies, they don't drop that many garbage. It's just that sometimes some of them spawn with a backpack, which I do have a filter down here. Well, it's the bundle, it's the trophy, it's a few magic scrolls, and the backpack. That one is weird. Oh, and yeah, we have loot piñata. I don't know, I'm not Spanish. Sounds Spanish. In any case, another thing that we can do is that we can add echo shards to the spawner. That will make it so that they will drop their loot more often. I think. Yeah, it's echoing 1, echoing 2, echoing 3. Does it go higher? No. So let's see the difference. Actually, I will not notice the difference. Wait. Let's turn it off. And then let's see how much do we get. Okay, that's nice. So my fellow Dark Ones, the teeny tiny mob farm that we have just made allows me to get into my favorite mod, bubbly heart canisters. You know, from Lord Traverse of Darkness. So I have made myself a heart amulet and 10 red heart canisters. That means on bare minimum we should have 10 extra hearts. Lovely. My fellow lords and ladies of darkness, it is the next morning for me and I have been working on apotheosis enchantments. Currently we're up to level 80, unfortunately for the level 100 I ran into a problem. So you do need to have a dragon head in order to make the draconic bookshelf. Unfortunately, even though I spent maybe an hour, 2 hours in the end, I did not find an end city with a ship. I do blame the terrain generation mod, but what can you do? We didn't find it. But it is perfectly fine. There are different ways of crafting it, and I think eventually we're just gonna go with this recipe. You know, from hostile neural networks. And yes, I even got a shulker. However, the main reason that I have done all of this is that I wanted the infused dragon breath, and thankfully that is a level 80 enchantment. Why did I want that? Well, I noticed the recipe. Gateway of Apotheosis Pinnacle. If you do manage to finish this gateway, you're never ever going to need a mob farm for Godforged pearls or perfect gems. So let's try to do that. We do have a few gems which are perfect. Well, first off, remember, we do 872... Wow, what? Okay, we go with 873 damage. There used to be something from Apotheosis which will allow you to remove the gems. Unfortunately, I don't see it anymore. You would remove the gems intact, so this one just removes the gems. Oh. Okay. It does remove it intact. So we have a perfect gem of the samurai. That's way more critical damage. Not sure if the sharpness is going to help, but we can have 4 more levels. Perfect gem of the samurai, extra critical damage chance, and I guess the ballast gem we have to combine. Yeah, now it does plus 10 attack damage. So based on the sword alone, how much damage will we do? 1000. 1006, what? Why does it fluctuate? With a few more upgrades to the helmet and the chest plate. Okay, so I guess let's try the pearl in the morning. We actually don't really need to do this, we already have everything. I'm just curious. Hello? You're big, but you died. Oh, there's more. Am I in you? Yeah, blindness is going to be a pain. There are more enemies and I'm blind. What? Kill a rabbit! Did somebody fall down? Yeah. Being frozen is not fair. Everybody dead except you. This should be the final wave, right? What the? That's a goat. 24,000 health. I can't kill him in 1 minute and he teleports. Because he just walks away. Dude, this is not fair. Stay still. Yeah, I don't think there's any way I can kill him in time. Unless he just stays there. No. Yeah, we're gonna fail. How would you kill him? I do have a feeling that a teeny tiny bit of cheating is allowed. We're gonna use grinders, 2 of them. And I do have an Insanium apple. Let's see if the grinder works. Oh, hi. Doesn't work. Oh, it does. They're just big. Hit him, please. Wow. It's not going towards the grinders. Is the problem. Yeah, even the grinder didn't do that much damage. Dude, there's no way. Yeah. There's no way. It worked! Well, I put him inside the crater, I surrounded everything with grinders, he just teleported and died. Literally. Look at the amount of garbage. Okay, so let's move away from magic a teeny tiny bit. What we want to do is to make a nuclear reactor from the Extreme Reactors mod. Near our base, I did manage to find an island in the middle of a lake, and here's where we're going to set it up. The problem is that it's a very dense jungle, and I'm just trying to remove all the trees first. And I think that's going to take a fair bit of time, so let me do that, I'll be right back. Is that a kitten? Yes! They're so cute. I finished removing every single tree from that island, and in order for the quest to count, I made myself a basic reactor. I just wanted the quest to count, that's it, nothing super fancy. However, even though this reactor is incredibly garbage, it's basic, it only has like 3 fuel rods, it generates 8000 RF. I just did that because there is a quest for getting cyanide. Well, while we are getting the cyanide, probably there's not a recipe for it, no, but there is a seed. Interesting. Let me try to get the other reinforced reactor. Yeah, the quest only wants 1 cyanide ingot. So the reinforced version does require a ton of steel, and thankfully, we're already making it. That's a decent amount of steel. Oh, and uranium, yes. I have started making our brand new reactor. It's 13 by 13 by 7. externally obviously. Inside we have a total of 45 fuel rods and obviously 9 control rods. We don't really have a coolant, but let's see how it works. You should be able to give it blocks of uranium, right? This is big. You're going to be output, for some reason you're green, and you're the input, and you're red. Hello boys. I got 21 ominous potions. Anyways, let's see how much power you make. That's not bad. Fuel consumption is a bit crazy, but we're going to almost 100,000 RF. Interesting. As for coolants, we can use unobtainium, which is going to be probably one of the best, but indium is an option, things that we have in abundance. Or we can go with netherite. Let's go with netherite. I should be able to even craft more because we get the scrap from our mob farm. Well, not much. I guess it's just 6 more stacks. Let's use these ones. So this is extreme reactors. That means that we can leave the corners empty because it's not going to make any difference. This should be fine on its own. We're out of netherite. Damn. We just need a few more blocks. Let me check. So power production goes up exponentially. That's actually quite nice. And fuel consumption is a bit less. Wait a minute, we're almost at 350,000 RF. What's wrong with you? This is a garbage reactor. How come it can make that much power? It's okay. Let me try to get the rest of the netherite. We can use all the scrap that we have. And probably all the gold. Wait a minute, that's it? 35 blocks? I don't think that's gonna be enough. Oh, it is enough. So now it's full of coolants. It should operate correctly. Yeah, the maximum number is this one. We can't go higher than this. Not with the current coolant at least. Also, where's the waste? You don't make waste? It's fine. Let's chunk load this place. We will get ourselves a flux plug, like so. And for the moment, since we are interested in the waste, we're not gonna automate it using any computers. We want the cyanide. Also the power, but cyanide is more important. Okay, it has been a while later. I have been doing a few things around the base, and these reactors are incredibly fuel efficient. It has been more than half an hour and we just got 7 cyanide. For that amount of power, I think it's a bit crazy, because if you have the old version, this would consume a ton. So I know this might sound a bit stupid, but what if we go a bit inefficient? We want the cyanide. Instead of a 3x3 in the middle, we go with a 5x5. Oh, this is netherite. Takes ages to break. What if we vein mine? Yeah, much better. It's not a 5x5 completely, we're missing the corners, but it's fine. And yeah, you don't really need to use indium. I just thought, let's use some color variation. Other than that, there's absolutely no reason. So how far can we go? The good thing is that we're generating more waste. And those extra fuel rods give us a bit more power. Okay, that's fine. The reason that I'm actually very interested in the waste is that there is something called insanites, which also has a B for some reason. That's actually quite cheaty. Yeah. Okay, then maybe we will one day make the B, but we need insanite in order to make the B anyways. With insanite we can make a turbine which will generate us millions of RF, that's the whole point. But until that time, we need a ton of waste. So now we come to the main reason that I switched from all the mods to the sky to all the mods on the ground. There were a ton of fun mechanics that we could have used using different mods, but unfortunately, since it was a sky block, we couldn't use any of them. One of those mechanics was Oritech, the Bedrock miner. These very small piles of ores that you see on the surface, they actually hold the secret underneath. It's way down. There are resource nodes from Oritech down here, diamonds, emeralds, gold. Okay. I just got the quest. It's fine. But anyways, that's one of the mechanics that I want to use. But first, I think we have to get rid of the turbo fuel. There is a pump from Oritech, but we're just gonna go with mechanism, because I do have a feeling it's going to be way faster, and besides, I don't really have an infrastructure for Oritech. I also don't have one for mechanism, but that is perfectly fine. We just have to have a few machines from mechanism. Obviously, metallurgic infusers. You guys already know the drill. We first have to start investing in alloys as well as circuits, so that we can start upgrading the machines. And can we also make a crusher? No, we need the circuits. That is 1 and that is 2. And that should be our crusher. Lovely. I'll get to work. Okay, so mechanism is easy. We're up to atomic alloy with full upgrades and tier installers. That took like 5 minutes. So if we want a pump from mechanism, that should be easy peasy. I don't remember that. Somebody has changed the recipe. Another thing is that we need a decently sized tank, and I think we're going to go with the tank from Evilcraft, because this can be upgraded and this is 4,600 buckets. So I guess for the moment, the pump can go there. For some reason, it had a bit of power. I held it in my inventory, that makes sense. But here is your actual power, and here is your tank. Give me the turbo fuel. Oh, and yeah. Speed upgrades. Now it should be way faster. Also, I love the texture of turbo fuel. Okay, so what you see over here is absolutely nothing. We have some barrels which are empty, we have a pipe which leads nowhere, we have a valve which doesn't really work, we have an item hatch which doesn't really do anything. Using some gold, we have traces of gold. With some slime blocks, we have traces of uranium. Because Uranite actually looked horrifying. And for some reason, we even have radioactive waste next to a stack. I don't know, I actually thought that since these resource nodes are kind of permanent, because you can't really break them, right? Then this bedrock extractor from Oritech is going to be kind of part of our base, right? So we don't really want to just put it in a hole, we want to put it in a hole which is useless. Since I actually invested a ton of time in this useless area, let's also think how should we get in. Because at this very moment, that's our only way in and out. A hole. Oh my goodness, there are mob spawners here. In the back, but I don't think that one is going to spawn any mobs, because it's next to lava. Someone's hit. I don't know what to do with that. Anyways, let's try to dig a tunnel to the surface. Ouch. Okay, I stopped the leak. Yes, we're on the surface. That's a nice spot. Obviously, what we are doing is really not that necessary. There are millions of ways of transportation in Minecraft, and teleportation is the easiest one. But we are going to go with something very stupid that I have recently discovered. Hypertubes from Create. So obviously we need two entrances, it's a two-way tunnel. Then exactly like placing down the rails, we right-click, and we do get the hypertube block. Like so. It's like the viaducts from thermal expansion, and I do have a feeling it does require rotational power. What the hell? What is that? I saw a name tag. Well, I know for a fact that the horse is not gonna suffocate, but let's get them. So we got the horse, and he's dead. Okay, so we have a source motor, we have some source, and we do have some rotational power. Sneak to enter. Oh, this is fun. It actually throws you out, but it doesn't say sneak to enter on this side, so you might need to have rotational power on both sides. But this is going to be our elevator. It's cool. I have finally set it up. We have our motor, we have our source jar on both sides obviously, and this goes almost until bedrock. We stand on top and press shift. It's cool. Really cool. I do have to work on the walls though, because this is a bit garbage. Just a bit. For going up, you also have to hold sneak, so you just jump and shift. You go up. I just need to cover the wall, add a bit of light. So one of the things that you guys might have noticed is that the treated wood that I used in order to make these kind of scaffolding as well as the workbench was actually not produced by me. I stole it from villagers. So when I wanted to make the door from immersive engineering, well, I couldn't because I just have the one. The funny part is that I made a steel door from immersive engineering, I also made the switch, and I have been standing here for 5 minutes, moving the switch, trying to understand why it doesn't open the door. So the lever doesn't open and close the door, but it does lock it. You see? Now it's locked. Now it's not locked. Anyways, I have fixed the tunnel, and we have some writing on the wall. You probably can't read that, but it's the motto of the channel for the past like 10 years. So probably you can just guess it. I might have missed a few blocks as well. Somewhere? Yeah, over there. I'll fix it, don't you worry. Okay, so now that we have a decent amount of power, I thought maybe we should also get into hostile neural networks. Remember, I do need the wither prediction in order to make the dragon head anyways. And also a bunch of other gizmos. So for the moment we're going to have half a stack of simulation chambers and 16 loot fabricators. And I think the wisest thing to do is to start with data models first. So I was under the impression that I have been recording, but apparently not. And I was trying to get the predictions, and we have 9 predictions for withers. I mean, all the withers were one hit, that wasn't really a big deal. We also have an incomplete data model for the dragon, and we just have to kill her 2 more times, so it's gonna go fine. Don't know how many data models we should have. Should we go with, I don't know, 5? 5 extra? 6 in total? Hello? Spawn. Synchronizing them is gonna be a pain. Only 1 more. Come on. Yes. So the question is, can we one-shot the dragon? I don't think so. Okay, yes, we can. That went surprisingly fine. So let me do this one more time. I'll be right back. I have already upgraded the data models for the dragon and now we're in the nether. Honestly speaking, we don't really need the drops, but I want a generalized prediction. You see, there are 5 types and all of them are useful. Unfortunately, the wither as well as the ender dragon drop the ender one. I also needed something from the nether, then we get something from the overworld as well as the twilight forest. It's just a relatively useful thing to have, otherwise I'm not that picky. I guess also pigmen. Why not? Call your friends. He died. You don't have any friends. I just found this in the nether. What is this? It's just free gold. Okay. Yeah, even though I have a piglin, I have a blaze, I thought ghasts are going to be way more useful. Yeah, we have 2 of them. So we're going to try and automate everything using XNet because I think that is the easiest way. And the way that it works is that first you need a controller. Obviously, you need to power it. And even though you need to power it, it cannot read from the flux point to provide power to the machines. So here is an ultimate energy cube from Mechanism. As you guys probably know, the way that XNet works is that you have to connect everything to the controller using a connector, and then you connect the connectors using wires or cables. So now if we come to the controller, we can read the energy cube. We're going to make a channel for energy. We're going to extract the energy from the energy cube. And then we can use more connectors in order to connect some of our machines to the network. So we can export the energy to them. Like so. And also we have to make sure that this is on output. Yeah, they have power. Perfect. So at this very moment, automation is not something that we have, so we have to do this part manually, but once we get into applied energistics, this part is going to be automated. So for the moment, we just put some prediction matrices inside a drawer. We make a channel for items. We're going to extract from the drawer in stacks, and we're going to insert it into the simulation chambers. Also, let's just make a filter, just in case. They have their prediction matrix. But I'm assuming you guys already got the gist. Let me set up all the filters, hook up all the machines. I'll be right back. It failed. Obviously. Even though 12 of the simulation chambers are empty, I think I have managed to automate everything. Yeah, we're getting the garbage. XNet is super nice just because of the fact that you have different channels to work with. That means you can get away with a lot of things without actually using a filter. However, there is one more simulation chamber that we need. This one is also going to be for the wither, but we don't want the nether stars out of it, we just want the prediction. It's just that now I have to find it. Ah, it's that one. So we give you power, we give you the matrix, and whatever you make, you just extract it into the dimensional chests. There's a 7% chance of success, so this could take some time. Oh, we were successful. This is the only filter I have. This is why it didn't go anywhere. There you go. And I guess you go over there. Now we have a storage for it as well. The reason that I needed that wither prediction is that you need it in order to make the withering soul from mystical agriculture as well as the dragon head. As for the overworld matter, we have to come to the fortress. It's not the fortress. You know, the one with the end portal. Stronghold, yes. Anyways, over here when I was looking for the portal, I noticed that it goes through a trial chamber as well. It's a glitch, I think. Oh yeah, I was looking for it. We're not really going to try and do trials. We're looking for the brand new mob. I think it was called the Blizz. There was another one near our base. And yeah, I found him. Just wanted the data model. Where did you go? But that's the only one. And I even lost him. Oh, he's there. I need to kill 4. Oh, hi. Do you spawn up here? Maybe not. Wait, everyone counts as 2, so I just need 1 more? Yeah, these structures are massive. Oh, we got another one. We're at basic. I don't care anymore. From next episode, what we're going to try and do is that we're going to try and get into applied energistics and a bit of technology, right? So before that, I just want to work on a very small project regarding villagers. So normally when I want to cure villagers in order to get discounts, I use the tablet of restoration. And every time somebody mentions to me that, hey Lash, did you know that Easy Villagers mod has a converter? Well, I mean the tablet of restoration takes like 5 seconds. This one takes 5 minutes. But part of my job description is that I have to listen to you guys sometimes. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try and automate villagers. The most important thing is that since we have the Easy Villagers mod, villagers are basically an item. You know, You can drop them on the ground. Anyways, for villager logistics, at first I wanted to use crate and mechanical arms, but I think this also works fine. This is from modern industrialization and it's pretty slow. We can see the villagers in pipes. It's actually nice. I like the idea. So if we want to have a villager manufacturing line, everything starts with a breeder, an incubator, you know, so that the babies grow. Then we're just gonna have a bunch of converters. Just to keep it symmetrical. I need one more. Okay. So there you go. And I want the pipes to be as long as possible. So we can go something like this. And you know, remove the extra connections. Okay, so we do have our shady wizards. They just made a baby. We shall extract the baby. That looks nice. And that should go inside the incubator. I don't think the incubator requires any inputs apart from the child. Just because we need to provide inputs to most of these machines, I'm going to use XNet. And the reason that I'm going to use XNet is that they do have facades, so why not? And well, at the end of the day, we come up with a system like this. It's a chain of curing and infecting villagers. So obviously, it's just piping, but in order to infect the villagers and then cure them, what we're going to need is a potion of weakness as well as golden apples. Golden apples is not really a big deal, you can just craft tons of them. However, the potion is a problem, and for that I'm using a Wixie. You just have to have a pedestal with a potion of weakness, and since the potion of weakness only requires water and fermented spider eyes, we just have to provide this guy with fermented spider eyes, and nothing else. The Wixie is going to brew the potions using some source, which I have a source jar underneath, and is going to deposit the source into the potion jar, which we can pick up using bottles. And that's actually a lot of potions, that's like 100. Also, the reason that I'm using XNet is that I have two different channels. One of them only puts one potion of weakness inside the converter, and the other one only puts one golden apple. We don't really want to clog up the system, we want one space for a villager. I like the concept, I'm not gonna lie. The problem is that can we also use a weighted ejector? You know, just throw them in the air to a deposit? That would be fun. A bit of a stupid thing to do, but do you work? Yes. We have a villager. He's actually not the correct villager, because you know our chain is not complete, it's still 15 minutes left. While the villagers are getting prepared, let us also try to work on a very small trading hall. It's a very garbage old schematic, but what are we missing? That's fine, because I don't have it anyways. Oak I think was just a placeholder, but we're missing one spruce. I actually forgot how much spruce we need, that should be enough. My memory is garbage, yes. Yeah, we're good. You, start. Actually, there is something. Let's remove the armor. Apparently, if I wear the Technomancer armor, the cannon is going to work faster. Let's give it a test. It does work faster. Oh yeah, it's even purplish. That's really cool. I just set up the trading hall and I'm really hoping that our first villager is going to be ready at any moment. Yeah, the previous one is being pumped in, so this guy should be ready any second. Yeah, we're gonna watch it eject. I think. Is it glitched? Oh, it doesn't have a servo. Yeah, that was my bad. Now we can watch him. Come on. Lovely. It flips. So this should be a decent villager with a decent amount of discount. Although their colors are a bit different. So these guys, we're going to try and use them for modern industrialization. And I think it would be easier just to use a normal trader for the moment, until we unlock all the trades. Do you have a profession? Oh, you do. I don't want tin. Fire clay, not the worst. But yeah, robber, definitely. Coffee addict. Okay. I guess that's me. So we have a bit of a problem. I don't have sulfur dust, and I have never ever found lignite. It's okay, we take a nap, see what happens. We do have to wait for him to restock, that's it. Oh, and by the way, the reason that we are going to try and do some modern industrialization is actually this guy, the quantum sword. Infinite attack damage and also infinite defense. I'm not sure if it's possible or not, we just need the quantum core. Well, it could be a while, I guess. You restocked. So I guess rotors are a good thing. I don't know. Not an expert. And then he sells gears. He should also sell me a drill or something. So the first villager is actually in place. He's inside an auto trader and he's giving us rubber. The other villager was also ready and I started trading with him and look what I got. Analog circuit. And also motors. And steel plates. This one is really good. The other one is not that great. Because this guy has like 4 traits that I really love. Maybe we shouldn't do auto trading is the thing. Yeah, I think that's how we're going to roll. For some of the villagers, we can't really afford to have some sort of an auto trader. We have to do normal trades. Because for example, I do want the steel plates, I want the bronze, I want the rubber, I want the circuits, and I want the motor. And for the moment, we don't really have that many villagers. It's a bit of a slow and tedious process. You're not making babies that fast. Oh, the incubator is the problem. Aha. It's fine, I'm not that much in a hurry. But anyways, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Also, a very small thing that you guys might have noticed is that the graveyard project is on halt. That is because as of literally right now, it's still 2 hours left until you watch episode 1. So I don't have volunteers. But in any case, thank you so much for watching and I really hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one. Bye bye.